Here's the wild part. A 400 square foot tiny home or detached garage roof can passively collect over 9,000 gallons of rainwater every single year in a moderate rainfall area. That is enough to handle your garden, your toilets, your laundry, and in some states, even your drinking water, all without touching your municipal water bill. And the entry point? You can start this system for as little as $150. But here's where most people get it completely wrong. They grab a rain barrel, hook it up, and think they are done. They're not even close. There are 5 critical components to a system that actually works, legal traps that catch people off guard in over a dozen states, and a garage roof trick that almost nobody uses but doubles your collection capacity almost overnight. Stay with me through this entire video because at the end, I am breaking down the exact system tiers, from a $150 weekend setup all the way to a full off-grid system build, so you can match the right system to your property, your budget, and your state's laws. Before we go any further, if you're new here, this channel is all about honest and practical tiny homes and alternative living content. No hype, just real numbers. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you catch every new video we drop. Alright, let's get into it. Let me give you some context on why this conversation is more important right now than it has ever been. Water costs have been climbing steadily across the United States, and in drought-prone regions the pressure on municipal systems is only getting worse. For tiny homeowners and people building or using detached garages as workshops or living spaces, this creates a real opportunity. Here's the math that should grab your attention. A 1,000 square foot roof receiving 30 inches of annual rainfall can theoretically collect around 18,700 gallons of rainwater per year. At a real-world system efficiency of about 75 to 85%, accounting for first flush loss, evaporation, and splash, you are looking at capturing somewhere between 14,000 and 16,000 gallons annually from that single roof. Your tiny home roof might be 200 to 400 square feet. Your detached garage could easily be 400 to 600 square feet. Combined, you are working with a meaningful catchment area. Use that formula yourself. Take your roof square footage, multiply by your area's average annual rainfall in inches, then multiply by 0.623. That is your theoretical maximum. Then multiply by 0.75 to 0.85 for a realistic estimate. For example, a 300 square foot tiny home roof with 30 inches of annual rainfall gives you roughly 4,200 gallons per year after applying that 75% efficiency factor. And rainwater is not just free. It is often superior to what comes out of your tap. It is naturally soft. No chlorine, no fluoride, no mineral buildup. Your garden responds to it differently than city water. Your irrigation equipment lasts longer. And depending on your filtration setup, this water has real household applications. Before you spend a single dollar on equipment, you need to understand the legal picture. And I'm going to be straight with you, because this is where a lot of videos skip the uncomfortable stuff. Rainwater harvesting is legal in all 50 states. However, that does not mean it is unrestricted in all 50 states, and the restrictions can be significant. The federal level. There are no federal laws restricting rainwater collection at all. The federal government does not regulate it. This is purely a state and local matter. States that encourage it. Texas, Virginia, and Rhode Island offer tax credits or tax exemptions on equipment purchased for rainwater harvesting. Arizona offers similar incentives. Tucson specifically provides rebates of up to $2,000 for sister installations. These states are actively pushing you toward collecting rainwater. States with meaningful restrictions. Colorado, Utah, and Nevada have historically been the most restrictive. This dates back to century-old water rights laws called prior appropriation, essentially first-come, first-served water ownership laws from the frontier era. Colorado has relaxed significantly. Homeowners with certain property types can now collect up to 110 gallons of rainwater. That 110-gallon baseline remains current in 2026, though ongoing legislative discussions in western states are exploring agricultural and garden exemptions for larger volumes. Worth watching as those conversations develop. Utah and Nevada have also loosened restrictions in recent years, but larger systems may still require registration. Illinois requires that collected rainwater be used only for non-potable purposes and that systems comply with the Illinois Plumbing Code. Arkansas requires a licensed professional engineer to design, any system intended for portable use. California allows collection under the Rainwater Capture Act, but typically limits use to non-potable applications like irrigation and toilet flushing unless additional treatment and permitting is in place. The HOA situation. Here is a win many people do not know about. In Texas, Florida, and California, state law prohibits HOAs from banning rainwater collection systems outright. They can impose aesthetic rules around tank color, placement, and screening, but they cannot ban you from collecting rainwater altogether. Bottom line, check your state law, then your county and city ordinances, then your HOA rules if applicable. For indoor connections to plumbing, plan on needing a permit and a licensed contractor in most jurisdictions. Now let us talk about the actual system. This is the stuff that separatists set up that works from one that sits there growing mosquitoes. Every functional passive rainwater collection system has 5 core components. Miss any one of them and your system will either underperform or create problems. Component 1. The catchment surface. This is your roof. Not all roof materials are created equal for rainwater collection. Metal roofing and asphalt shingles are the most recommended surfaces. They produce cleaner runoff and are less likely to leach contaminants into your collected water. Cedar shingles, treated wood roofing, and older roofs with moss or heavy debris should be avoided for potable systems. Pro tip: asphalt shingles are fine for lawn irrigation, but if you are growing food you plan to eat, metal roofing is your best friend. By 2026, most tiny home builders are defaulting to metal for exactly this reason. For tiny homes and garages, metal roofing is a double win. It is durable, low maintenance, and an excellent catchment surface. Component 2. Gutters and downspouts. You probably already have gutters, but check the condition. Clogged, damaged, or leaking gutters are a major source of collection loss. Professional gutter installation runs between $900 and $5,000, depending on your home size. Downspout installation or replacement is typically $300 to $600. If your tiny home or garage does not have gutters, adding them is the first real investment in your system. Gutter guards cost $15 to $45 per linear foot installed. In 2026, micromesh technology sits at the $35 and up mark and represents the premium end. For DIY gutter covers, you're looking at $1 to $5 per square foot. Component 3. The first flush diverter. This is the component most beginners skip, and it is probably the most important one. The first batch of rain that hits your roof every storm carries the highest concentration of contaminants. Bird droppings, dust, pollen, atmospheric particles, whatever has settled on your roof since the last rain. If that water goes straight into your tank, your stored water quality is compromised from the start. A first flush diverter automatically redirects that initial flow away from your storage tank and only allows the cleaner water that follows to enter storage. These run $30 to $80 for a DIY setup and make a significant difference in water quality. Component 4. Pre-storage filtration. After the first flush, your water still needs to pass through a pre-filter before entering storage. This catches leaves, insects, sediment, and debris. A quality downspout filter designed for roof areas up to around 1,600 square feet connects directly to your vertical downspout and handles irrigation and non-potable uses cleanly. These run $50 to $150. For portable systems, you will add more filtration stages downstream of the tank, not just pre-storage. Pro tip: in 2026, PFAS awareness is at an all-time high. If you're going Tier 3 and planning to drink this water, activated carbon or reverse osmosis filtration is not optional. It is essential. Make sure your Tier 3 contractor specifies these treatment stages in writing before you sign anything. Component 5. Storage. This is where people spend the most money, and also where the biggest sizing mistakes happen. The math is straightforward. Multiply your roof square footage by your annual rainfall in inches by 0.623 to get your theoretical maximum gallons per year. Then size your tank based on your dry season storage needs, not your annual total. If you live somewhere with regular rainfall year-round, a 500-gallon tank may be adequate. If you face long dry stretches of 3 to 5 months, you need 3,000 gallons or more to bridge those gaps. Pro tip: by 2026, ultrasonic tank level sensors that connect to your phone via Matter or Thread smart home protocols have dropped to just $40 to $70. For Tier 2 and Tier 3 systems, a smart tank monitor means you always know your storage level without walking outside. Worth adding to any cistern build. Here is the move that almost nobody talks about in the tiny home water conversation. Your detached garage roof is essentially a bonus catchment area that most people completely ignore. If your tiny home roof is 300 square feet and your detached garage is 500 square feet, you have just nearly tripled your collection surface. And here's the beautiful thing about this setup. You do not have to run water from the garage into the same tank as your home if the distances or permitting makes that complicated. You can run completely separate storage on the garage property and use that collected water exclusively for outdoor purposes. Garden irrigation, car washing, workshop cleaning, livestock water, if applicable. This keeps your system legally simpler in states that restrict indoor connections, and it gives you dedicated outdoor water that costs you nothing beyond the initial setup. A basic garage collection setup, gutters already in place, one downspout filter, one first flush diverter, and a 500-gallon above-ground poly tank can be a solid DIY project in the $400 to $800 range depending on your existing infrastructure. The garage system works especially well as your starting point if you are uncertain about regulations for indoor connections. You collect, you use it outdoors, you stay clearly on the right side of most state restrictions, and you see real results fast. Alright, this is the section I promised you at the start. 3 real system tiers with honest 2026 cost data. No inflated numbers. No lowball estimates designed to get you excited only to discover the real price later. Tier 1. The starter system, $150 to $500. This is your entry point. A DIY weekend project that requires no permits in most states and teaches you how the system works before you invest more. What you are building, 1 or 2 rain barrels connected to an existing downspout with a basic downspout diverter and mesh screen. The used food-grade barrel market has tightened in recent years. For 2026, the safer consumer estimate is $75 to $200 for new UV-resistant barrels. A downspout diverter kit runs $20 to $40. Total system cost with a single barrel, done yourself, lands under $200 in most markets. Best use case, garden irrigation. A 55-gallon barrel fills quickly in a moderate rain event and can water a kitchen garden or container plant for days. Limitation: 55 to 200 gallons is not a lot of storage. In a dry spell, you will exhaust it fast. This tier is a proof of concept and a good starting point, not a serious water-independent solution on its own. Tier 2. The mid-range system, $500 to $3,000. This is where most tiny homeowners should be building. You are getting real storage capacity, a proper pre-filter, a first flush diverter, and a pressure pump for distribution. Above-ground cisterns in the 500 to 2,500 gallon range are your storage solution here. Basic cisterns start around $1,500. Polyethylene models are the most popular, lightweight and food-grade rated when specified, and straightforward to install above ground. Add a first flush diverter at $30 to $80, a quality downspout filter at $50 to $150, and a small pressure pump at $150 to $400 if you want pressurized distribution for drip irrigation or hose connections. DIY on the above-ground components can save you $300 to $1,200 in labor costs. This tier is well within reach as a skilled DIY project if you are comfortable with basic plumbing connections. Pro tip: add a smart tank level sensor to this build. At $40 to $70 in 2026, the ultrasonic models that connect to your phone via Matter or Thread are genuinely useful, and they make this system feel modern. It is a small cost against a $1,500 to $3,000 build. Best use case: full outdoor water independence, garden irrigation, car washing, garage workshop cleaning, exterior house washing. In some states with appropriate permitting, non-potable indoor applications like toilet flushing. Tier 3. The full off-grid water system, $3,000 to $15,000 and above. This is a serious infrastructure investment. You are building a system that can supply your home's complete water needs with appropriate filtration for potable use. Here is what 2026 cost data shows. A residential above-ground cistern system installed professionally runs $2,000 to $12,000. An underground cistern runs $6,500 to $24,000 depending on size and excavation complexity. Adding a water filtration system rated for indoor potable use adds $4,000 to $12,000 on top of storage. Underground cisterns are the preferred choice for full off-grid builds. They maintain a stable temperature, preserve aesthetics, and protect against freezing in cold climates. Pro tip: for Tier 3 potable systems in 2026, PFAS awareness has changed the filtration conversation. Make sure your contractor specifies activated carbon filtration or reverse osmosis as part of your treatment chain. This is not an area to cut corners on, and a reputable installer will already have this built into their recommendation. For this tier, you will need licensed contractors in most states. Look for contractors certified through the American Rainwater Catchment Systems Association, the RCTSA, or those holding ASSE Series 21,000 credentials. Professional installation ensures code compliance, proper permit paperwork, and warranties on the work, typically 1 to 5 years. Best use case: primary water supply independence. This is the setup for off-grid tiny homes, remote properties without reliable municipal water access, or homeowners who want to dramatically reduce or eliminate their water bill long-term. Let me be real with you about maintenance, because this is where people get surprised. The good news: annual maintenance on a well-designed system is minimal. Routine upkeep runs around $200 to $600 per year, depending on system complexity. The things you actually need to do: screen all openings with fine mesh and keep lids tight. Mosquitoes can breed in standing water within 10 days of collection. In 2026, vector control inspectors in states like California are paying closer attention to residential systems. A tight lid and fine mesh is your compliance, and it takes 5 minutes to check. Use or rotate your collected water within the cycle. For non-potable systems, rotating your storage prevents stagnation. Inspect gutters and downspouts before each rainy season. Clean debris from pre-filters. In freeze climates, before the first hard freeze, disconnect hoses, drain exposed pipes, and protect or remove pumps. A frozen pump is a dead pump, and that is an expensive lesson. Check for algae. If you see algae in your tank, discard that water, even for garden use. Opaque tanks prevent this entirely by blocking light exposure. For potable systems, your water quality testing schedule depends on your local requirements and treatment method. Your licensed contractor will walk you through this as part of the installation. Let me ground this in real numbers because I said honest data, and I mean it. A basic rain barrel setup can save the average homeowner around 1,300 gallons per year. At average U.S. water rates, that is a modest saving, roughly $15 to $40 per year for a single barrel. Upgraded systems with 500 to 2,500 gallons of capacity that handle all outdoor water needs can reduce outdoor water use significantly. Multiple industry sources indicate that effective rainwater systems can reduce relevant water bills by 40 to 55%. But here is the honest context. The financial payback period on a Tier 2 or Tier 3 system at current U.S. water rates is long, often 10 to 20 years on the system cost alone. The case for these systems is not purely financial unless you have no municipal water access. You're in a region with steep water pricing, where you receive meaningful rebates. The real value drivers are water independence, drought resilience, reduced stormwater runoff impact on your property, and for many people, the philosophical alignment with off-grid or sustainable living. Those are real values. Just be clear-eyed about them before you write the check. If you're in a state like Texas or Arizona with rebate programs, run those numbers specifically for your location before deciding on a system tier. Tucson's $2,000 cistern rebate changes the math on a Tier 2 build meaningfully. So here's where we land. Passive rainwater collection for a tiny home and detached garage is absolutely practical, increasingly legal across the country, and can range from a $150 weekend starter project to a full off-grid water infrastructure build, depending on your goals. The key things to take from this video: use your detached garage roof as a second catchment area. Most people leave this completely untapped. The first flush diverter is the most underrated component in any system. Do not skip it. Check state law, then county and city ordinances, then your HOA before purchasing anything. Match your system tier to your actual water goals, not to the largest system you can afford. If you're going Tier 3 for drinking water, activated carbon or reverse osmosis filtration is non-negotiable in 2026. Rebates in states like Texas and Arizona can meaningfully change your cost calculation. Research them before you buy. If this video helped you, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who are trying to build smarter, more independent lives in smaller spaces. Drop your questions in the comments below. I read them and I answer. If you want me to go deep on any specific part of this, first flush diverter DIY build, underground sister comparisons, state-by-state legal breakdown, let me know and I will build that video. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one.